Things I do for love.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at the most horrifying, extremely violent, and disgusting moments from both Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon.
This is my friend. Tonight he's going to be your friend.
Number 20. Daemon Kills the Crabfeeder.
Brother, I have ordered 10 ships and 2,000 men to set sail from King's Landing to join the effort in the Stepstones.
Damon may be a D-bag, but there's no denying he is a fierce warrior. And it doesn't get much cooler than watching him waltz out of the cave, Dark Sister in hand, and dragging what remains of Craghas Drahar. The Crabfeeder was occupying the Stepstones, and Damon was none too happy about that. He subsequently attacked the Crabfeeder in a siege and pursued him into a nearby cave system. And while we don't see the killing directly, we do see its aftermath, and it does not make for a pretty sight. It's a great moment for establishing the tone of House of the Dragon, informing viewers that it wouldn't be skimping out on either the battle scenes or the violence.
Know that it is not my desire to see you fail in your cause. It is instead my hope that this aid will deliver the victory that has thus far evaded us.
Number 19. Sir Roderick's beheading. Theon Greyjoy's betrayal of the Starks is upsetting for everyone involved. Ned Stark's war draws most of Winterfell's forces, led by Sir Roderick Castle, away and takes the fortress. After Roderick is brought back, he spits in the face of the traitorous Theon.
My brothers are dead. They died fighting Stark men. Men like you.
Aye, they died fighting a war your father started.
When Theon's men insist he kill Roderick, Theon reluctantly does so.
God's help you, Theon Greyjoy. Now you are truly lost.
While Bran's pleading for Theon to stop makes the scene traumatic enough, what's worse is that Theon botches the beheading. Although we don't see the act in detail, the fact that he has to hack away at a man's neck and then kick his head off the rest of the way is disturbing enough in concept. Number 18. Sir Kristen makes Lord Beesbury sit. As the Dance of Dragons escalates, dissension proves to be a very deadly venture, something that Lord Lyman Beesbury learns the hard way.
I will not have this. To hear that you are plotting to replace the king's chosen heir with an imposter.
His firstborn son is hardly an imposter.
The master of coin on the small council, Lord Beesbury is one of the few who rejects the notion that King Viserys suddenly changed his succession plans on his deathbed. He's right, of course, but that means little in the House of Green, and even less to Sir Criston Cole.
This is seizure. This is theft. It is treason, at the least.
Mind your tongue, Lyman.
Sir Kristen, incensed over Beesbury questioning Queen Alicent, makes the old man take a seat and then some, slamming his head down on his personalized stone ball.
Which of us are you accusing of regicide, Lord Beesbury?
Whether it was one of you or all of you, I care not. I will have no part.
Down!
Beesbury is killed instantly, and the rest of the council does nothing about it. Except promote Sir Criston to Lord Commander, of course.
Let us have Lord Beesbury removed.
No. The door remains shut until we finish our business.
Number 17. Blackwood on Bracken violence. With so many houses in Westeros, it's understandable that not all of them can get their time in the spotlight. So credit this scene for giving us a glimpse of the rivalry between House Blackwood and House Bracken.
Ours is a bond that has long endured, since Lucas Blackwood, the grandsire of my grandsire, aided the dragon in his war of conquest.
Aye, the Blackwoods truly turned the tide on that one.
As Rhaenyra receives suitors at Storm's End, she's greeted by the particularly young Willem Blackwood. Willem does his best under pressure, but even that isn't good enough for the spectating Gerald Bracken, who incessantly rags on him with insults.
If chosen as your match, princess, your day shall be easy and night safe, under my protection.
Protection? The princess has a dragon.
Even though Rhaenyra elects to end the procession, Willem's indignance compels him to challenge Gerald.
Craven.
We're leaving.
We're immediately fearful for the significantly smaller Blackwood. So color us surprised when he runs through his tormentor. Season 2 brought us further Blackwood on Bracken violence, with the devastating aftermath of the Battle of the Burning Mill. Number 16. Nailed and Stomped. The war in the Stepstones proves to be a grueling campaign for Daemon Targaryen, so imagine what it must be like for men on the ground.
House Valyrian is coming for you!
Damon and the Velaryons are going up against Craghas Drahar, aka the Crabfeeder, who has earned his nickname by staking his enemies and leaving them for the crabs. That's already a terrible way to go, but leave it to Damon to add insult to injury. As Drahar marks an unnamed Velaryon soldier for death, the latter promises retribution is coming. And sure enough, Damon swoops in with his dragon Caraxes, leading the soldier to cheer. The trouble is, Caraxes lands directly on him.
Dear my prince, save me!
Yeah, top 10 House of the Dragon characters who celebrated too early? This guy. Number 15, Divorce Targaryen style. Granted, Damon may not have even cared to notice he crushed our last entry. This one, he definitely knew what he was doing.
Husband? What brings you to the Vale?
After Damon spends 4 episodes ragging on his wife Rhea Royce, we finally get to meet her. Only if this list is any indication, we would not know her for long.
What will you do now? Will you strike the child down? Or...
Ambushing her outside Runestone, Damon does not have to say a word before Rhea realizes he's there to kill her so he can marry Rhaenyra. But before Rhea can do anything, Damon gets her horse to upend and crush her.
I knew you couldn't finish. Craven!
Knowing it'll look like an accident, Damon motions to leave, but Rhea's goading compels him to finish her off. He grabs a nearby rock, and we are left to imagine the grisly conclusion. Number 14, A Dragon Rider's Death. Like many characters in this world, Laena Velaryon was gone too soon, but at least she got to go out on her own terms. Sort of.
Half of them never do, you know. What? Hatch.
Pregnant with Daemon's 3rd child, Laena remarks in this episode that half the dragon eggs never hatch. With Queen Emma's failed delivery burned in our minds, this bit of foreshadowing immediately made us worry for her. And sure enough, Laena's birthing goes south.
We could lay open the womb. Try to remove the infant by way of the blade.
But I cannot say for a surety whether it lives.
Or the mother survive it.
Rather than suffer another failed cesarean section, Laena slips away and finds Vagar. In agonizing pain, she pleads with her dragon to end her suffering.
Dracarys! Dracarys!
Vagar is noticeably hesitant, but fulfills her master's request by roasting her alive. Laena probably didn't feel the flames for long, but boy is this death brutal. Number 13, Criston Kills Joffrey.
I know who it is. The handsome parable.
Oh.
Sir Criston Cole.
If you're a character named Joffrey in this world, you probably should not go to wedding receptions. Granted, Rhaenyra and Laenor aren't hitched just yet, but we had a feeling their pre-wedding feast would not end without a little bloodshed.
Sir Laenor is quite dear to me. As I know. Princess is to you.
At this point, the tension between Rhaenyra and Sir Criston Cole is evident, and Laenor's lover Sir Joffrey Lonmouth tries to blackmail Kristen into keeping their secrets. Kristen, heartbroken over Rhaenyra spurning him, takes it out on the Lonmouth Knight in front of everyone. Laenor tries to intervene, but to no avail, as Kristen pummels Joffrey's face into looking like Hamburger Helper. Seriously, no one mess with Sir Criston Cole. Number 12, The Mountain Kills His Horse. A commonly used method for giving a character official bad guy status is to demonstrate their negative attitude towards animals. This is generally done with a simple dislike of dogs or some other villainous spurn, but when you're talking about Sir Gregor the Mountain Clegane, everything is over the top. In the ultimate rage quit, after losing a joust to Sir Loras Tyrell, he kills his mount with a blow from his greatsword. Poor horse! The disturbing death and poor sportsmanship is something of a buzzkill for the joust spectators. Of course, it wouldn't be the last shocking death at the hands of the Mountain.
Stop this madness in the name of your... Let him go!
Number 11. Aemond loses an eye.
It's him.
It's me.
Vagar is my mother's dragon.
Your mother's dead. Vagar has a new rider now.
For a second there, it seemed like Aemond might be the one Targaryen boy of the next generation to not grow up with a mean streak. But it turns out the others' tormenting of him would turn him into the worst of the bunch. After Laena's death, Aemond seizes the opportunity to claim Vagar for his own. This does not sit well with the others, Vagar being Rhaena's by right. Aemond is unremorseful, leading to a scuffle that sees Aemond deliver brutal blows to his nephews and cousins.
Come at me again and I'll feed you to my dragon.
However, Aemond gets it the worst when Jace blinds him with sand, allowing Luke the opportunity to slash his face. Aemond loses an eye in the ordeal, but he regrets it none considering what he gained. Number 10. Ramsay becomes dinner.
My hounds will never harm me.
You haven't fed them in 7 days, you said it yourself.
If one character rivals Joffrey in the villainous department, it's the psychotic Ramsay Bolton. Luckily, he gets his comeuppance in the legendary Battle of the Bastards. Ramsay is viciously beaten by Jon and locked in the kennels of Winterfell, where he is met by the vengeful Sansa Stark. It's supremely satisfying watching her stand up to Ramsay and get revenge for all the harm he caused her throughout the show. And no death is more poetic than Ramsay being slaughtered by his own hungry dogs, the same dogs he used to kill his own stepmother and half-brother. You could say his own tools of torment came back to bite him.
They're loyal beasts.
They were. Now they're starving.
Number 9. Oberin Martell's death.
Don't leave me alone in this world.
Never.
By season 4, audiences were starting to feel like they'd seen it all. The hardened viewers had watched their favorite characters die off or just disappear, endured scenes of torture and betrayal, breathlessly and patiently awaited the army of the dead, and then this happened.
Say it!
Even those who had read the scene in the book and knew what was coming were shocked by the graphic nature of the moment. To be honest, Eladia Sand's scream was all of us. We knew not to get too attached to any one character, but seriously, this is audience abuse. Number 8. Missandei's death. Missandei is one of Daenerys' closest advisors and friends. So, when she's captured, Daenerys, as well as her lover Grey Worm, are quite upset.
Queen Cersei demands Daenerys' unconditional surrender. If she refuses, Missandei of Narth will die here and now.
During the ensuing standoff at King's Landing, Missandei is displayed atop the wall. Despite Tyrion's best efforts to talk Cersei down, Cersei ultimately decides to have Missandei executed in front of the two people who love her the most, one of whom has a dragon. Missandei's final word, Dracarys, proves to be the last word on King's Landing as well, when the distraught Daenerys goes full Mad Queen.
Dracarys!
Number 7. Theon's torture.
Where am I? Who are you?
Of all the terrible character journeys, Theon has perhaps had it the worst. One could argue that he brought it on himself, betraying Robb, killing innocent children, his clumsy capture of Winterfell and beheading of Sir Rodrik. But seriously, Karma, this might be overkill. Over the course of multiple episodes in Season 3, Theon is brutally tortured. The barbaric scenes do not let up, and there's just something so horrible about someone frantically begging for mercy. It is deeply disturbing. Of course, when you think it can't get worse, Theon is viciously castrated. Tortured both physically and psychologically, Theon becomes a husk of his former self, and audiences were left shaken.
What is your name?
Number 6. Queen Aemma's death. We suspected House of the Dragon would come out the gates hard in the first episode, but even we didn't expect this.
This is the last time, Viserys.
Before Laena's complications, Queen Emma's experience reminded us how terrible it is to be a woman in Westeros. Her labors also go sideways, but she is without the benefit of a dragon to put her out of her misery. Instead, she's subjected to the decisions of the men around her, particularly her husband Viserys, who elects to have a C-section performed out of desperation for a son.
Viserys.
Yes. They're going to bring the babe out now.
We watch in horror as Emma's cut open against her will. And to make matters worse, not only does she perish, but so does the baby. This is dark stuff. Number 5. Daemon ends Vaemond. The Velaryons have it rough in Season 1, but no one arguably got it worse than Vaemond.
I have spent my entire life on Driftmark defending my brother's seat. I am Lord Corlys' closest kin, his own blood. The true, unimpeachable blood of House Velaryon runs through my veins.
By all accounts, Vaemond is technically right in his conviction that Driftmark should pass through him, seeing as Rhaenyra's children aren't actually of Velaryon blood. But as we learn from Ned Stark, being right doesn't mean diddly squat if you make enemies of the wrong people.
Her children are
bastards!
Vaemond makes a vehement case for himself in the Great Hall, compelling Viserys to make good on his promise of removing the tongue of whoever calls his grandchildren bastards. Damon, however, has other ideas, slicing off the top half of Vaemond's head with one swift blade.
He can keep his tongue.
Suffice it to say, the Queen of Hearts would be proud. Number 4. Vagar Choms Arax. Aemond was right in valuing Vagar over his left eye, and this scene is grisly proof of that.
Loboros, I brought you a message from my mother, the Queen.
Yet earlier this day I received an envoy from the king.
With the Dance of Dragons starting in full swing, Lucerys travels to Storm's End on his dragon Arax to ensure Baratheon support. However, Aemond has already beaten him there, with more to offer and a heftier dragon.
I want you to put out your eye. It's payment for mine. One will serve.
Apparently above killing him, Aemond only wants an eye from Luke in retaliation for the one he lost. Based on what happens next, we're betting Luke wishes he had taken him up on that proposition. Aemond taunts Luke in the skies with a clear weight advantage. However, he's ultimately unable to temper Vagar's fury, as the Queen of all dragons bites through the small one and sends Luke to an early grave. Number 3. The Red Wedding. This is perhaps the most infamous scene in the entire series. After the death of Eddard Stark, it looked like Robb was on track to avenge his father and take the North back as its own kingdom. Having never lost a battle, the young wolf seemed unstoppable, despite making a few little miscalculations along the way. Michelle Fairley's powerful performance only ratchets up the tension until the final brutal cut. To this day, the haunting refrain of the Reigns of Castamere remains the melody of treachery and defeat.
The king in the north arises.
The abrupt end to the King in the North storyline shocked fans everywhere, and left viewers wondering upon whom they should pin their hopes moving forward.
Mother. The Lannisters send their regards.
Number 2. The Fate of Shireen Baratheon.
Hear us now, my lord. To you we offer up this girl, that you may cleanse her with your fire, and that its light may lead our way.
No, please let me see my...
One of the only truly innocent characters in the show, Shireen Baratheon, the only child of Stannis Baratheon, is sweet and kind to everyone she meets. As Stannis' bid for the throne continues to falter, Melisandre convinces him that the Lord of Light requires a sacrifice. Brought to the pyre, Shireen dies seeing her mother and father do nothing to save her, despite her heartbreaking pleas for help. Her mother Selyse belatedly tries to take it back, but it's far too late. It's one of the hardest scenes to watch in the entire series, and we were more than happy to see Stannis meet Brienne in the very next episode.
Go and do your duty.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The attack on Prince Jaris.
No. She's telling true.
Hold him down.
The Game of Thrones universe is filled with deplorable and unspeakable acts of violence, and none is more vile than what befalls Jaris Targaryen. The franchise once again pushes the boundaries of what's acceptable on television, and while we don't see the murder itself, the implication, sound design, and resulting visuals are more than enough to disturb viewers. The event throws the Dance of the Dragons into even more disarray, and even Damon supporters can't defend the deplorable depths to which he sunk after ordering the hit. It is one of the most horrifying things ever depicted on TV, let alone the franchise.
What if we can't find him?
Are there any other scenes that troubled you? Let us know in the comments below.
Down! Down!